My favorite swim jig, this is the Megabass Ouzo Swimmer. Absolutely, I think it's the best swim jig on the market. It's got the patented Megabass fish head design that makes the bait run completely straight through the water. It's got a super sharp, nano-coated stiff hook. It's got a great keeper on it. You can hardly pull the trailer off of there. And it's got this blade on the bottom here, which actually adds some flash to the swim jig that increase strike. So this will be in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video, along with the Zoom Z-Craw Junior trailer that I like to use in it here. Okay guys, talk a little bit about swim jigs in May. Now, here is why a swim jig works so good in May. It's, for the most part across the country, the month of May is sort of the late spawn into the early post-spawn time of the year. That means you still have a lot of bass shallow, and you also still have a lot of bass, or not still, but you have bass that are actively feeding, trying to recuperate from all the energy they spent spawning, whether it be males or females. So in the month of May, it's sort of unique that you've got a lot of bass that are actively feeding in shallow water. Now in April, they are shallow, but they don't actively feed because they're focused on spawning. They more actively feed in the month of May. And a swim jig, guys, is one of the best ways to catch them in May, because the difference, we talk a lot about sort of the mood and the personality of the bass. In April, a lot of times the bass want a slow bait, like a jig, a Texas rig, a shaky head, a wacky rig. But in May, they start to bite moving baits better. Your crankbaits, spinner baits, top waters, and especially swim jigs, you know, coming through the water column. So, and on top of that, the shad are spawning in May in a lot of lakes across the country. And there's nothing that resembles a spawning shad like this Megabass Ouzo Swimmer, little shad pattern with a little flashing blade on there. It's super, super good for the shad spawn type fish here. Now, also guys, in May, this is the color I fish. I fish some type of a pearl or white. This is about the only time I do that. In my swim jigs, I really like to use a perch pattern, or you know, something like a black and blue a lot of times. But in the month of May, I've got the some type of a shad pattern on like this. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how and where you want to fish this. It's pretty easy to do, because you want to fish a swim jig in the same type of areas that for the most part that the bass have been spawning in, and that is flatter banks, that sort of like the back ends of coves and shallow water. Anywhere that you think the bass have spawned in, this is a really good area to fish a swim jig. And also, you're going to find out that you catch more bass on a swim jig on the flatter type banks. For whatever reason, I guess it puts the fish up shallower, but they like a flat, shallow bank. In correlation with that, you've got to have some stained water. I have never had a good swim jig bite, with the exception of like fishing it deeper over like submerged grass.